Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be with you again. Welcome to this English news edition. Let's first start with the headlines. During his visit to the United States of America, President Evariste Ndayishimiye held a one-on-one meeting on Wednesday with his counterpart Felix Antoine Tshisekedi. The meeting took place in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the signing ceremonies of the historic peace agreement between Rwanda and Congo, scheduled today. And in world news, President Xi Jinping of China has welcomed his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron with his wife Brigitte Macron. The state visit, scheduled for December 5, 2025, is being undertaken by Emmanuel Macron at the invitation of the Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. Welcome back. Details now. During his visit to the United States of America, President Evariste Ndayishimiye held a one-on-one meeting on Wednesday with his Congolese counterpart Felix Antoine Tshisekedi Chilombo of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The meeting took place in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the signing ceremonies of the historic peace agreement between Rwanda and the DRC. And the assignments are scheduled for today in Washington, D.C. An investigation is underway to identify anyone involved in the recently banned goods belonging to the Tanganyika Business Company. Announcement of the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye during an exchange session that was organized this Monday for media professionals. During that briefing, he also informed about ongoing efforts to allow retirees to get retirement fees equivalent to their final salary. Take a look.
Among the questions asked to the head of state during this exchange was the one related to the case of the goods belonging to Tanganyika Business Company that were recently banned. These goods, imported in 2018, had remained blocked in warehouses due to a disagreement over the amount of taxes to be paid. The question raised was whether since 2018 it would not have been possible to find a fair solution to avoid the losses for both parties. In response, President Evariste Ndayishimiye expressed his sadness about the situation and stated that he had asked the Commissioner General of the Burundian Revenue Authority (OBR) to open an investigation to determine responsibility. He also indicated that he had requested a report from Burundian Bureau of Standards (BBN). According to President Ndayishimiye, there are certain people who are seeking to tarnish the country's image. He believes that instead of letting the goods remain in warehouses for such a long period, it would have been better to auction them off, allowing the state to collect the taxes due and return the remaining amount to the owner. He concluded by saying that in a responsible and hard-working state, every leader should treat a citizen's property as that of their own child and protect it. He stressed the need to identify those responsible for this matter so that they can be punished. Regarding the issue of pensions granted to retirees, the head of state indicated that it is currently a technical process. He specified that, according to the latest report he received, retirees should receive 75% pending the continuation of the counting operations. It should be noted that this meeting brought together journalists, media managers, and influencers active on social media.
This Thursday in Gitega, the Burundi First Lady Angeline Ndayishimiye officially launched the 16th Days of Activism Against Gender-Based Violence campaign, using the theme calling for unity to end digital violence against women and girls. Burundi First Lady Angeline Ndayishimiye urged all those in authority to severely punish, in accordance with the law, the perpetrators of digital violence against women and girls. Take a look.
The launch ceremony of the 16 days of activism against digital violence towards women and girls was held under the patronage of First Lady Agenda Ndayishimiye in the presence of several partners, including the Minister of Justice, the representative of human rights, as well as other key stakeholders. In her speech, the representative of the United Nations system in Burundi praised global efforts to combat gender-based violence, while emphasizing that despite these efforts, the number of victims remains very high. She stressed the need to continue taking action to reduce such violence. The Minister of Justice, Artemo Katihabwa, noted that the rise in violence against women and girls is linked to several factors, including poor digital literacy and the sophisticated strategies used by perpetrators. In her remarks, First Lady Agenda Ndayishimiye called on all stakeholders to intensify awareness efforts and build capacities for the responsible use of digital technologies. He also urged the Minister of Justice to strictly punish perpetrators in accordance with the law. This awareness and action campaign against digital violence targeting women and girls will conclude on December 10th in coordination with the celebration of International Human Rights Day.
A center for facilitating students wishing to pursue their studies in Uganda will be established in Burundi. The announcement was made this Wednesday by the Ugandan Embassy in Bujumbura. The embassy also announced that it is preparing a forum for Burundian alumni who studied in Uganda to be held as it is to be held at its office next Friday. Jean Ndayishimiye has more.
The Embassy of the Republic of Uganda is going to host the first Uganda-Burundi Alumni Network event.
During this press conference, Anne Babinaga, Minister Councillor in charge of education at the Embassy of Uganda in Burundi, announced that this event will be organized for the very first time in Burundi, entitled Burundi Alumni Network Event. It will take place within the embassy premises on Friday, December 12th of this year. She stated that the event will be an opportunity to welcome and listen to testimonies from former students who pursued their studies in Uganda, allowing them to share their experiences in a spirit of brotherhood and mutual enrichment.
This is the first time the embassy is hosting this event, and we're targeting about 200 Burundian nationals, young people that have studied in Uganda, or even grown-ups that have studied in Uganda. We really feel that the Uganda-Burundi alumni are the true ambassadors of Uganda. By telling their stories, they are really telling us that we are one people in East Africa, we are one family, and choosing to go to Uganda and come back and invest their skills in Burundi to develop themselves, to develop their families, to develop their careers, is something that is worthy a celebration, and that's why we want to have that celebration with us today.
During the same press conference, she also announced that the Embassy of Uganda in Burundi plans to open a national Uganda examination center in Burundi. She took this opportunity to invite all former students who attended Ugandan academic and educational institutions to come in large numbers and participate in this event.
And the users of works resulting from intellectual property are called upon to contact Obidea in order to find out the legal provision regarding the protection of musical works. This is a call of Obidea, General Director, this Tuesday during an awareness meeting intended to encourage the stakeholders to register and protect their intellectual works through copyright. Take a look.
Intellectual property officials are calling on creators, particularly writers and musicians, to protect their works through Obidea, according to the director of the office. Claudette Mukangulaga said the requirements are not many. Meanwhile, she noted that if an artist is not recognized as a registered member, they will not benefit from a revenue sharing because their works is not officially recorded or protected. Claudette Mukangulaga stated that it is now time to distribute the funds collected by Obedia to the rightful authors whose works have been exploited based on the official list of the artists registered with the office. She also called on users and consumers of musical works such as bars, hotels, hair salons, studio and radio stations to approach Obedia and learn about the legal procedures they must follow. These users are required to pay royalties through Obedia of the works they use, as they are commercially benefiting from someone else's intellectual effort. On Thursday, a meeting for decision makers was held to agree on how this process will be implemented, with the aim of better protecting and promoting intellectual property creations.
In the Organization for the Fight Against Corruption and Economic Misappropriation, OLICOM, is calling on Burundians, particularly young people, to take the lead in the fight against corruption, a scourge that hinders the country's development. Gabriel Rufiri, president of OLICOM, made this statement on Thursday during a press conference marking the launch of the 16 days of activism against corruption campaign. Take a look.
This 16-day anti-corruption activism campaign, launched the Thursday by the Organization for the Fight Against Corruption and Economic Embezzlement, OLICOM, is part of the preparations for the International Anti-Corruption Day, celebrated annually on December 9th. Gabriel Rufiri, president of OLICOM, stated that this campaign is an opportunity to encourage Burundians, especially the youth, to play a leading role in the fight against corruption, a phenomenon with serious consequences, particularly for the country's economic development. He recorded the words of former UN Secretary General Kofi Annan at the adoption of the UN Convention Against Corruption in 2003, where he emphasized that corruption is a threat to democracy and development. According to him, corruption is a societal problem that endangers humanity and particularly affects the poor people. He stressed that in a corrupt environment, one cannot claim to have development, democracy or integrity among leaders. Corruption leads to the breakdown of values in society. Referring to the Burundian constitution, he pointed out that the first paragraph states that corruption is an evil that must be fought by everyone. The second states that every citizen is called to fight against it. For these reasons, all actors, citizens, media, judiciary, parliament, and the executive must be involved. Gabriel Rufiri also called on the government of Burundi to establish effective and independent institutions to combat corruption in line with the first pillar of the country's vision to become an emerging nation by 2040 and develop the one by 2060.
In world news now, President Xi Jinping of China, accompanied by his wife Peng Liyuan, has welcomed his French counterpart Emmanuel Macron and his wife Brigitte Macron. The state's visit, scheduled for December 3-5, 2025, is being undertaken by Emmanuel Macron at the invitation of his Chinese counterpart Xi Jinping. The discussions will focus on strengthening French cooperation, the economic, trade, cultural, and educational fields. They will also discuss the role China can play in helping to end the war in Ukraine. Well, this is the end of this English news edition. Thank you for your attention. Have a good time.